Back in June of 2021, we announced the introduction of Java Management Service, an Oracle Cloud Infrastructure service to help you manage Java deployments on Oracle Cloud, on-premise, and in third-party clouds. JMS helps you find Java runtimes in your systems by scanning common locations where Java is installed. It also uses the Java usage logging features available in Oracle JDK to figure out which applications are using each runtime. System administrators need to have this information because Oracle offers quarterly updates for each supported Java version, and everyone running Java has choices to make after each of those updates. Here is one of my favorite pages for keeping track of when any version or update was released and when further updates will be available. java.com/releases. This page lists not only the updates that are already available, but also shows the next 2 years of planned updates. I prefer the month view better, since it clearly shows which versions are up to date and for how long each release will receive updates. In general, only the top most updates for each released version are considered current. For example, imagine that I have an application running on JDK 1706. That's the current version of 17 that launched on January of 2023. When the April releases come out, I can choose between updating the applications using that version to 1707, or I could upgrade those applications to a newer JDK. Since JDK 20 will be out by then, I could choose to upgrade to 2001. Staying in JDK 17 will be easier, as updates within the same release family are unlikely to cause problems or require code changes or updates to the tools and libraries. And if you see the top of this page, where we list when each support version will end, you will see that I can stay with JDK 17 all the way to September of 2029. Moving to JDK 20 is also a valid choice. JDK 20 will have performance improvements, new language features, and new APIs that are not available in JDK 17. Developers may find it easier to do certain tasks in the newer releases. But going to a new release family does require more careful testing and could require changes in your application, especially if you relied on deprecated APIs or features that were removed when you switched to the later releases. What you shouldn't do is stay on JDK 1706, as each quarterly update delivers not only performance improvements, but also critical bug fixes and fixes to security vulnerabilities. Quarterly updates can also deliver updates to the cryptographic algorithms that your application relies on to keep your system secure. As you know, the longer you take to apply those quarterly updates, the more risk you're taking on. When JMS released, we recorded a webinar that explained all of this. It's still available if you would like to review it. This video gives you more details on exactly how JMS gathers information about your environment and expands on the reasons for promptly applying updates. However, all of that was about a year and a half ago, and many things have changed for the better since then. During the 2020 Java 1 keynote, George Sapp, Senior Vice President in charge of the Java Platform Group, announced that the basic discovery features of Java Management Service were now available to everyone. Prior to this, JMS was only available to those that had a Java SE subscription or those running Java workloads on Oracle Cloud. George also announced the introduction of several new advanced features. Those advanced features remain available only to users of Java SE subscription products, like the new Java SE Universal Subscription, or for those running Java workloads on Oracle Cloud. Those new features take JMS to a whole different level, providing a much broader view not only of what runtimes you are running, but of what your applications are doing. To tell us all about the new JMS features, we have with us Bernard Traversat, Vice President of Software Development, whose team developed and updates Java Management Service. Bernard, can you give us a quick overview of the features?
Yes, sure, Aurelio. The new Java Management Service advanced features include for the advanced usage tracker, which give you more detail than just what applications are running with each runtime. JMS can now detect which library your Java application used and compare your usage list against a list of non-vulnerable libraries maintained in the National Vulnerability Database. With this, you will know not only when the Java runtime needs an update, but also if some of the library used by your application should be updated. Another advanced usage tracker feature is for those that use application servers. The basic usage tracker will just tell you that you're running WebLogic or Tomcat. With this new enhancement, you will now be able to tell what applications has been deployed and are running within the app server. Another new features is a crypto event analysis. As you mentioned it, JDK updates sometimes introduce new cryptographic algorithm, but also sometimes disable older algorithm. In many cases, administrators have no ideas if the server the application connect to are using algorithms that are no longer considered secure. And they found out, more often too late, only when they apply those updates that disable that algorithm, make the applications and the connections start failing. With crypto event analysis, you can now sample your applications and get GMS to record the cryptographic algorithm used by your applications. GMS can then compare those with the planned change that are published as part of our Java crypto roadmap and tell you ahead of time if you need to update your servers to use stronger cryptography before a security update causes you some problems. For those that use the JDK Fly recorder, GMS now provide a centralized locations to initiate recording and gather the resulting Fly recording file from each monitor system. So you don't have to go to each machine to set up recording and upload the GFR recording files. GMS can also help you keep your Java runtime current by having the GMS agents add or remove JDK runtime on managed system. Basic reporting simply points you if you have an update is available. Advanced features will let you remove older versions and install new ones. And finally, once you have GMS installed or Java runtime, there are some post-installation actions that you can have GMS apply now. For example, you could increase the minimum key length for some cryptographic algorithm. And if you're on Linux, you can instruct your Java runtime to use the operating system root certificates instead of the one that ship with the JDK. As you can see already, a lot of compelling new features.
Well, your team has certainly been busy this year and a half. I expect many of our users would like to see those features in action.
Hello, yes, Aurelio. So let's look at the GMS console. So that's overview page. So let's go into the fleet. Let me pick up, one of the fleet, GMS crypto demo fleet. So first, to enable the new advanced features, the way you do it is you go to your edit property within the fleet, and then you basically can select, either you can select all the advanced features, or you can select, any feature that you are interested to use within your fleet. Okay. So let's start with the first advanced feature, which is the scanning for third-party libraries. So you can access these capabilities within GMS in two ways. Either you can do a scan for third-party Java libraries at the fleet level, which means that you're going to go scanning all the managed instance, within the fleet and all the applications that are running on those managed instances to find all the third-party libraries that are being used across all those managed instances. Or you can also do a more selective third-party library search by going to the Manage Instance tab that's going to list you all the managed instance within your fleet. And then you select, which managed instance. In the case, only have one, but if you have multiple, you can only select one, two, and select basically, the scanning for Java libraries only on those managed instances that you have selected. Okay. Then you initiate a scan. Okay. Now, with any work request that we are doing within GMS, you can access to the status of the work request by selecting the work request tab, where here you will see that we have basically a new request that has been accepted, and we're going to progress to scanning for Java libraries. So let's look at a report. So I did a report, a couple of weeks ago. And this report basically listed a number of libraries that are being used across all my applications. So you can see the list. For every libraries, we are showing the name, the versions, and more importantly, non-vulnerabilities that have been reported on those specific versions. Okay. Then you get the list of how many applications are using that libraries. If the usage is by a Java applications or by an application that is being deployed within an application servers, and on how many managed instances within that fleet that library is being used. Now, you can select and filter ordering. So I can show you basically that yes, within that fleet, we did find 3 libraries that have known vulnerabilities. So now the powerful part of GMS is to be able to not just tell you, okay, I found the specific Java libraries, but be able to tell you on which applications and which managed instance are being impacted by using this library. So if I select the libraries, which is a Guava 1601, I get access now to a report that will tell me the list of all the applications that are including these third-party libraries. So clearly, the name of the application is Guava in that case. And then on the left side, I can also view all the list of managed instances that are being impacted by the usage of this library by one application running on that managed instance. So that's for the Java libraries. So in a very similar way, we can now look at finding more insight informations on application servers. So in the same way, to do a scan for the application servers, you can do that at the fleet level, scan for Java server, or you can do it going through the managed instance view, select the managed instance, and then do basically a scanning for for Java servers. Okay. So once you have done this scan, you can look at reports. And so here within my fleet, I did find that there was one instance of the Apache Tomcat. It is a version that I'm running, 10.0.20. There is one deploy application. It's only running on one managed instance. So if I want to get more information about those applications that are running within that specific Apache Tomcat instance, so I select now I'm within the context of the Apache Tomcat, and you can see that I have one application, which is a Word demo that was deployed. It's a non-cluster, configuration deployment. It's a WAR file, and it's basically, running on one managed servers. So again, here, GMS is providing you as part of the advanced features, the abilities to look at deeply into your application server. Okay. So the next, key advanced feature that we are introducing is a crypto event analysis. So again, here you can do the crypto event analysis at the fleet level, or you can do it at the managed instance level. So when you select the crypto event analysis at the fleet level, or for a specific managed instance, then we're going to ask you a duration of the recording. So the way this crypto analysis is working, it is that we send some information to the managed instance, to enable the J4 recording to find out about crypto protocol that are being used within all the applications that are running within that instance. And so we want to basically provide you the abilities to specify durations for how long you want us to analyze, those applications. So right now by default, we step an hour, but if there is a lot of traffic, you can do it. You can reduce it to 10, 15 minutes, or if you believe there is, a lot of more, it's going to take more time for you to collect the information that you want, you can increase, this recording to, 2, 3, or 4, 4 hours, whatever makes sense. Okay, so let's look at the report. So run analysis. So you can see that, I did run analysis on December 19. That basically showed that there was a non-issues crypto protocol usage that is recognized as something that needs some actions. So if you look at the detail, GMS will tell you which applications is going to be impacted. So here you can see that I had a G shell applications that in fact, used, TLS 1.0 and 1.1, which are considered, as crypto protocol that are less secure, that really want people to move to TLS 1.2. So very powerful way that GMS is providing you to be able to analyze the crypto protocol usage across all the applications within your fleet. Let's move on to the next advanced feature, which is the GFR recording. So the way you access the GFR recording is you go to the list of managed instance within your fleet. So you select, that managed instance, and then within the managed instance, you can look at all the applications that are running within the context of that specific managed instance. And you can see that here I have two applications, Hello World 10, Hello World 11. And so I can select one or two applications and say, okay, in that case, let me say I'm really interested to get GFR recording because I noticed that, there is some potential performance issue for that specific applications. So I select it and initiate the JavaFly recording. So the recording providing you by default a base GFR recording profile that select number of events, but also you can provide and customize your own reporting by adding whatever event you want to collect. Then we are providing some information around the durations of the recording. So you can select if you want to record for 5-10 minutes, knowing that if you select a lot of events, it's going to be a lot of data, or if you know that there is an issue, it may take some time, you may expand the durations to be able to collect all the information that you want. And also we are providing you a max recording size, because if you're selecting a lot of event, the GFR recording file can become very large. So that's a way, some way to control the size of the GFR file that are being generated and recorded. Now, what GMS is doing from the console, it will send a control message to the managed instance, connect to this Hello 10 applications. So we'll attach to the JVM running this Hello World 10, enable the GFR recording. We'll do the recording, and then we'll upload the GFR file into the object store bucket within your own tenancy. And that's a part that is very important because this data is being stored in the customer tenancy. And so you own this data, only you can view and see this data. So the way you access your GMS object store, you go to the fleet, and you will see that there is an object store entry that gives you the link to your object store. Okay, so that's basically the bucket that we are using to store all the GMS informations. So you navigate to this bucket, pretty much like a file system. So here we will have basically two subdirectories, the one where we contain all the different crypto analysis. So you can go back and look at the data that we have collected when we enable GFR to find out about crypto protocol, or you can go directly into the GFR, the raw recording, select the managed instance that you want to look at the data in, and then you will find out basically the GFR file that contain the GFR recording that we just did. Okay, and then from the object store you can go and download this file locally to your system by selecting it and doing a download. It will download the file to your local machine, and then you can run the Java Mission Control to analyze the data from this recording. Okay, so let's look at the last advanced features, which is post installations. So now we do have within the capabilities of the lifecycle management capabilities to be able to set up some post action, which means that GMS will go and install a Java runtime, and then it will do a post action configurations. So you access to the post installation actions in this way. So right now I've already set up 3 post actions. The one to kind of disable usage of TLS 1.0 and 1.0 and 1.1, and then also I change the minimum key length for those 2 crypto protocol. If you want to add more actions to configure Java installation at your fleet level, then you click the another actions and you get access to all the post action that are currently available. Okay, and then when you go ahead and install new Java runtime, either on one instance or multiple instances. So let's suppose I go and install on one. Let me say I want to install a new Java runtime. So let's say I want to install 1706. Okay. So I select, which Java versions I want to install on that managed instance. Then you can see that now we are presenting to you the list of post actions that have been defined at the fleet level. Now, for a specific JDK installations, Java version, you can decide to overwrite by saying that, hey, for that specific Java installations, I don't need to set up, these key lengths here. So I can disable it, which means that now, this JDK installation for 1706, will only do one post installation actions. So you can see audio, a lot of very compelling and fairly easy to use, feature that we are providing now as part of JMS.
That was great, Bernard. And where would someone find instructions and examples on setting up Java Management Service to monitor their own systems and how to get started?
Now going back to the overview page, if you scroll down, you will see that we have links to the documentation. So if I click on the links and you get directly into the GMS documentation that will describe, all the concept of the service, how to set up and configure your OCI account, how to set up the GMS service, set up and install agents on your system, and how to use all the different capabilities and features that are provided as part of GMS. The next content that we have related to documentations are live tutorials that are live labs. So you can access them by clicking on the live lab content. We have right now kind of three live labs content. The one that basically lets you set up, go through the installations, set up the base access, the base usage tracking capabilities of the service. Then we introduced a new live lab that will let you go and walk you through all the new advanced features that we have just introduced. And finally, also we have a workshop, a tutorial that will let you see how you can integrate through the GMS API SDK into other OCI services or other services that you are running. So yes, so as part of the service, while we are providing the console, we're also providing an SDK, for you to access through APIs all the content that are, collected by the GMS service. So to go to, one of those, tutorials, you select one. Okay, and so you get on the landing page. This tutorial is going to take roughly, 2 hours. But the nice things about those live lab tutorial is that automatically we're going to provision to you an OCI environment, so you don't have to go and create your own OCI tenancy. If you have an existing OCI tenancy, you can also run the tutorial within your tenancy. So you get the informations, description of the workshop, and then to launch the workshop, you go and start the workshop. So we are asking you either if you're going to run on your own tenancy or if you're going to run through the live lab sandbox. So kind of very nice way, an easy way for you to kind of walk around, play a little bit with the GMS service. Finally, I kind of wanted to mention also on the overview page, we gave you access to a survey. So essentially, we're going to encourage you to fill up this survey so you can get feedback about your experience or capabilities that you would like us to implement on the service. And finally, scrolling down, we are providing basically up-to-date announcements or what we are doing when we are releasing new capabilities for the service or anything new related to new Java releases that we are doing. So in that case, we just have the information about the generic CPUs that we just released. Finally, the last things I would like to mention is that the GMS service is deployed all around the world. And in fact, we're kind of tracking the deployment of new OCI regions with the GMS service. So as of today, we have more than GMS is available in more than 40 data centers all around the world, which is very unique, capabilities that GMS has, because for large corporation that have assets that are deployed all around the world, then we have the abilities to provide affinities for those assets to go to one of the data centers and the GMS instance that is running, in those data center. Also, by having, these localities that enable GMS to address, and we know that within the enterprise and government, it's important to kind of maintain data, localities in terms of, where you are storing the data that you are collecting. So that's another significant benefit that GMS is providing to enterprise and government to kind of ensure that the data that is being collected, remain within these regions. And then for large corporations, we can scale by having all those instances, and there is multiple instances on each data center for redundancy, but across all those regions around the world.
Thank you, Bernard. We would like to invite all of you to try out Java Management Service and use the survey that Bernard just showed to let us know what you think. We have many other features being developed, so we hope to be back with more updates soon.